Greetings, programs. Welcome to Hydaelyn's Heroes, the Final Fantasy XIV podcast where, whether you're a warrior of light or a warrior of darkness, all are welcome on the star we call home. This is take two. The first one did not work out too well. Sound issues. Whoops. We're here going to talk about some Final Fantasy XIV. It's been a long time since we've had an official episode. We did a patch notes reading, was that about a month and a half ago? So happy to actually get back at it and talk some Final Fantasy XIV. We're going to dive right in because we want to get back to Final Fantasy 16 and we got Rage Night and we're all busy. So joining me, as always, he is my co-host, the quad father, not quite quintuple father yet. Piers Harvey, what's you up, dude? How you doing?
I mean, Quint Father doesn't sound quite as good anyway, so
I'll
stick with the Quad Father. Even, yeah, I guess the Five Father. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I guess that kind of sounds like Four Father. And on the first take, you called me the Phoenix. No, I was the Ifrit to your Phoenix.
He is the Ifrit to my Phoenix in honor of Final Fantasy 16 and that initial fight. So, good times.
Yes, I was jumping around all over the apothecary, so, you know, that's what I do. Anyway, I'm doing all right, man. I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. I was there on the front lines the first minute it went live. Unfortunately, I didn't get my physical collector's copy. It's coming in tomorrow, so I had to buy the game twice. Not happy about that, Square Enix, but if you didn't think I was going to be there day one on my day off playing Final Fantasy 16, they got me crazy. So I was there, I was playing. But anyway, I am excited to be back here so we can discuss some Final Fantasy 14 story because I think it is getting pretty juicy. I think the patch was really good, and I'm happy to discuss it with you. So, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. And since it didn't take it with our first take, I'm going to show off the cool stuff that came in the collector's edition that you're going to be waiting for till tomorrow. Our Ifrit and Phoenix statue, which is just absolutely gorgeous. Love the coloring. Love the translucency. It's fucking sweet. Real quick again, just the pins. I'm gonna take these pins out, put some red felt in there, put the pins back in, display it as is then, and that red will make the pins pop, which are awesome. And then during the unboxing that we had earlier, I was very confounded because, you know, we got the game. I expected that. It's got a reversible sleeve, which is pretty cool with the 16 artwork. We got steel case with Clive, our boy Clive, and depending on the light, you can see this XVI in there. And then we have a second steel case, which really befuddles me. I'm okay with it being, you know, having a second steel case and you just kind of choose what you want. But the first one was 1 disc. The second one is for 2 discs. And I have no idea why. And Piers doesn't know either. We're both confounded. It
doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have like an installation disc or anything, right? It's just one disc.
Just one disc.
I don't.
Yep, I opened this up. Yeah. Just 1 disc.
Yeah, that's why whatever. Maybe you can put your favorite CD of ABBA in there with your Final Fantasy 16. I don't know.
It was recommended that maybe I record my entire playthrough and burn it to Blu-ray, and then I would just upload it to YouTube, and then it's there.
Hey, as the guy who collects physical editions in case the internet blows up one day, you would think you'd want to keep your own playthroughs in physical, you know? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't need to watch back my own playthroughs. I'll just play it again. All right. Let's get to our main story. We're just talking about the main story. We're not talking about raids. We're not talking about Savage, EX. Our Island Sanctuary. There is no story in Island Sanctuary. We're just going to talk about the MSQ. So let's get right into it. We start out with meeting Varshan and Zero outside the Megaduda, and Zero invites us to a date. What'd you think? You happy with the date with Zero?
Yeah, I was happy. You know, I think on your first take, you were unhappy that Varshan was kind of third wheeled into it. You know what? Kind of agree with you. Kind of wish it could be just the two of us, you know, because I think we both have a mutual love of Zero. Can't wait to get my Zero shirt for FanFest. By the way,
I can't wait for that either. Honestly, actually, to throw a little cold water on what you just said, though, I think we were the third wheel. I think she was directly targeting Varshan, and we happened to be there, which makes me feel sad.
Warrior of Light is always invited to everything at all times. So
at this point, yeah, you better be.
Yeah, you know, so.
I don't care if I'm a dick. I saved the goddamn universe.
Yeah, literally all of reality. So you know, we can come to dinner. I think we're owed some dinner.
All right,
So.
And that dinner apparently is going to be curry because Zero has no taste buds. She can't taste nothing, and the only thing that gives her delight in her experiences with food and consuming ether in this way is hot and spicy curry. Piers, what color spice did you add to her curry?
I'm pretty sure. Again, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I picked the black pepper. Yeah. It was some sort of black stuff that they were gonna put in it. So that's what I think I went with. Yeah.
Yeah, I interpreted it as like black peppercorn. And I've my one experience with black peppercorn was a fabulous steak, but it was encrusted with black peppercorn, so it was like crunchy but like steak juicy but hot as well. So it was like, oh my goodness, it was a little too much. Well, I guess the other experience with spice was my one chip challenge, which was brutal on my stomach. I got through the hot in the mouth, but my stomach wanted to kill me. We have dinner with Varshan and Zero, and we have fabulous curry. Apparently to the delight or not so delight of everyone else, because there was so much curry that we shared it with everyone in the diner, which made for hilarity. Hilarity ensued, sir.
It did. Yeah, it knocked some people right on their ass. In fact, it just knocked people out completely. Like they were just unconscious. I don't know. Maybe some of them could have actually been dead. Maybe we killed some people. Who knows?
Oh.
But pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal stuff. Like I said before, I think Razat Han would be a place where there would be a lot of spice and courage. Seems like a place where they spice their food a lot. So sure. I guess whatever we did must have just been a step too far, and it just really lit some people up. But I'm interested.
I think the base of Zero's curry alone is enough to like knock some people on their butts. And then we threw some extra peppercorn on top of it. It was like, okay. Just cray. Yeah. E-Mannequin chat. Hello, sir. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Let's move on. After dinner, we need to meet up with our friends and find out how we're going to get back to the 13th, right?
Yes.
I mean, our end goal right now is Azdaja and saving her, right?
That is the plan, yeah. So I guess we got to make it happen since they, what was it, Ruben Conte destroyed our way back to the 13th in the underwater area, the underwater dome.
Alzadal's legacy. Yeah.
Yes. So we got to find another way, and I think that's what Y'shtola was doing for the entirety of the 4.3 patch up to 6.4. So like that's what she was doing, was figuring out how to do that, and I think she figured it out. So
but the first person that we got to meet that's in town is Estinian. I don't know about you, but when we knocked on that door and we heard grunting Estinian and yes, come in, I immediately thought, this dude is working out and he's probably got like his shirt off and stuff and he's gonna flex. What happened?
Yeah,
Piers? What happened?
So yeah, we walked in and he was like, S9 was chatting out, doing one-handed push-ups, like, some chat, or like Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber or something. Yeah. So like, we walked in, and the moment I saw that, I was like, well, welcome to the reaction of every single like VTuber/YouTuber who streams 14 ever for the next month is just going to be, oh my god, it's Estinian naked. Well, from the waist up.
And sweaty.
Yeah. So I was like, here we go. Piers is rolling his eyes at this point. Like my Warrior of Light is literally just like, oh my god, really, dude.
And I'm like, I called it. As soon as I heard that grunt, I knew he was working out.
Yep.
And you don't work out with your shirt on if you're a guy. It's just, that's not how you do.
That's true. It's just, it's not economical, dude. Yeah. So,
here's the funny part about that. Not only is like every streamer and YouTuber and everyone having a reaction, our babe Zero is also having a reaction ? She tends to linger on the naked bodice, or naked chest, upper torso of Ascidian and his sweat glistening, and wonders, should I disrobe as well?
Yeah, I don't think she knew what was going on. She just saw him like with his shirt off and was like, I mean, do I join in here? I don't should I just do it?
Standard custom. That's she's naive. She doesn't know the ways of the source and of real life. Like I stopped. I was like, Yes, maybe.
Yeah,
Wait.
in my canon, the camera pans over, and Piers and Varshan already have their shirts off. They're just like ready to go.
Yeah,
Like,
this
yeah,
is how we roll. This is how we roll.
let's go.
This is gonna be our meeting. Let's do it.
Yep. Anyway.
Sorry, men are pigs. So yeah, we tell her no, it's not necessary. He's actually gonna get clothes on, and then we'll talk. So, I love Zara. I love how naive she is, and how much of a blank canvas, and we get to see her grow into an actual person. It's just awesome. I love it.
Which, yeah, it reinforces my belief that she's going to be a main character from the foreseeable future. I don't think that she just gets wrapped up and then shipped off.
Oh, no. Yeah. She's also part of the trust. So you could do trust on the post 90 dungeons, and you can include her. So she's gonna have a role in the trust and main story, I think, for at least another whole expansion.
That'll be cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. So,
all right. So we're talking about the ins and outs and how we need to get back to the 13th some way, somehow. And in walk Y'shtola and Urianger, and they have apparently devised a way to get back to the 13th. What is their method operandi to get us back to the 13th, sir?
Well, we apparently we need to go to the moon because it's just what we got to do, and we've got to reassemble the binding that was keeping Zodiark in his placement up on the moon, right? Like, that's what we got to do. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Well, I gave you notes.
I'm looking at the.
So, Rubicante had let us know that that Golbez, his headquarters was up on the moon.
Yeah. Yep.
And the theory is that the source and the reflections have like mirroring geography. So if we want to be on the moon on the 13th, the best way to do that would be to make a gate to the 13th shard on the moon.
Yeah.
Which
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's just some issues with that. You got to make a big gate. That's going to require a lot of aether, and I don't know if you've been up on the moon. It's kind of desolate. There's some stuff up there, but not enough to make a gate. So we got to get aether up there. So where do we get the aether? How do we get the aether up there? Well, getting the aether up there should be a simple thing of we use the Tower of Babel, right? We can use that again.
That's how Fandaniel and Xenos sent the ether up there to try to break the shackles of Zodiark in the first place. So we have to send it up through the Tower of Babel. It makes sense. So
so at this point, everyone kind of splits up. We got three kind of missions. We got set the moon up for the gate. We need to settle things in Garlemald and get access to the tower because things are still strenuous over in Garlemald. And then we need to get a metric buttload of aether. Urianger, though, reminds us that there was a plan to get the Ragnarok launched up, and that was from the Isle of Hom. Apparently it has a big fountain of aether. That was the original plan until Hydaelyn bestowed the Mother Crystal to us, and that's how we got the aether. So this initial plan of aether for the Ragnarok is now just not being used. So that's his initial plan to get that. But we got to go to Sharlayan to get permission, right?
Yes. So, we got to meet up with the students of Baldessian, right?
Yeah, we see Cryo because Cryo's got connections, right?
Of course. I mean,
we're gonna wear those thin. We always use her.
I think she's happy to help. No, she's a scion, right? She just happens to be dipping her toes in the students, right? The
scions are broken up. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, the clandestine group called the Scions. So we got to go hang out with her and Graha. Of course, Graha's got to be there because he's a Chad and everybody loves him. So
yeah. Did we actually really see Graha? I can't remember if we actually saw him or not.
We probably saw him a little bit, but I mean, he is doing the 24-man stuff too, so he's probably got his
yeah,
hands.
he's in Mordona. He's nowhere near Charlian. He's got his hands full. So we go there, and Kryl is with Erenville, our fun gleaner that we did some adventures with in Labyrinthios. They're talking about things and how he needs to step away, and I think this was kind of cool that they brought a little bit of the Vieira lore into the MSQ. He's got to take a vacation because he needs to do his every 5-year duty to go mate and make Vieira babies.
I mean, good for him, I guess. I didn't even think about it like that. I guess I missed that part, but yeah, I guess that does make sense. We haven't even really seen where the Vieiras are from on the source, though, have we? Obviously, on the first we know with the Raktika, but
I think they're south of Mericidia.
I think you're right.
I think they're in the southern continent. Yeah, so that's cool. Cool. Go make babies. Have a lot of fun. I don't know if there's rituals and stuff involved, or pain-induced thing. I don't know. Whatever.
Jeez, bro. Hopefully there's love involved, right?
I don't know. The way the women treat the men in that society, I don't know.
Oh, the men are supposed to be like the wardens, right? They're supposed to be the guardians of the forest or something. No,
that's the women. That's the women. The men are sent off to do their own thing. That's why he's gone from his society, and he's only comes back for the mating season.
They've got to. Okay, maybe you're right. I have to look into my Vieira lore a little bit more, but I don't think they're just you have a son in the Vieira society and then they literally get kicked on their ass and go.
They're allowed to grow up, but then they're pretty much kicked out. You remember on the first man there was just females. It was just females.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then when Andon is reverted to his true form and tries to go back, it was a big hullabaloo. There's a male.
Right.
There's a male in town. So I was like, anyways. So that's beside the main point. I just thought that was interesting.
It's interesting stuff. Yeah.
Kryl basically has some concerns, but then when she realizes that, we're doing this for the star, as of course we always do, we're not looking to hoard this aether for our own personal gains. There's reasons for this. She's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll help you. And this is, I think, where no, we don't see the form until we get to the docks, right?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, we go see Kokolo, and the forum comes up and greets us. All right, so she's willing to talk to the forum to present our case that we need to use this aether that is no longer being used. Let's see, I got to read my own notes. It's been 4+
it's been
weeks.
A while since the MSQ.
So,
yeah, it's been a while.
As we go to the docks, because that's where we're gonna get on the boat to the Isle of Ham. Once everything's smoothed over, Kryl's cleaning up, and she sees a mysterious letter. What do you think that is, dude? What do you think that could be?
I honestly I do not remember what that note is, what the letter is. Can you remind me?
So we don't know what the letter is. We know that it's important because Square Enix like to just stop on it and look at it, and Kryl did not open it at that time. But apparently there are some keen observers, people that have zoomed in on that letter and on the seal, and it looks like a seal of either a dragon or maybe of Merolith from the Fiend of Fire from Final Fantasy 1 with all the different arms and stuff. So, which could be important to Mericidia. So, we're starting to get those links to things that are going to push us towards 7.0. So, awesome. Yeah, I love getting those little tidbits. Sometimes it's only at the end of patches, but I think we're getting to the point where we need to have some in the middle of our main story. Mm-hmm. Are you excited to go to Mericidia?
I am. Yeah, I mean we've been hearing about it for a long time, pretty much since 2.0, 1.0 probably. There's probably a little bit.
Yeah. I mean Tiamat, Bahamut, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Twintania, all from Mericidia. Yeah.
Twintania, yeah. I mean, there's the whole Warring Triad. All of those primals were created by races that are on Mericidia. So that's a whole different thing. I mean, there's our beast tribe. Okay, sorry, tribal quests right there. Maybe we meet the people who summoned Sephiroth, maybe in Sophia and Zervan. Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting. So,
good times right there. Oh, I lost my spot here. Mannequin though says in chat that he remembers the Fiend of Fire. He just completed Final Fantasy 1 for the first time. So
excellent.
First introduction. He now knows of Merilith. So that's cool.
I learned of Merilith from 9 because I didn't go back and play 1 for a long time. But they brought all of the 4 fiends, well, the original 4 fiends from 1 to 9. There were some bosses in 9, so Lich and Kraken and all that. So
yeah.
So
from Kryl, we go to the docks and we see Kokol, the Lalafell who constructed the head engineer of the Ragnarok, that sped us on our way to the Endsinger. And apparently he just got back from vacation because he's just kind of chilling and he's all, ooh. And I thought it was funny that Zero thought he looked a little bit too relaxed in his attire.
I mean, he was chilling out with his weird Lalafell mustache and beard, and whenever Lalafell's have facial hair, it freaks me out. I don't know. It looks weird.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of it from his point of view, he's been working on the Ragnarok for probably decades, trying to get that thing going properly. So the fact that his job was completed successfully, he gets some time off.
I would say so. Yeah, the universe is saved, and his creation saved the universe. So yeah, go relax for a little bit.
At this point, the forum arrives, and this is where I get the first feeling that that we're being appreciated on the correct level. The forum arrives, and Fortuno basically says, "Oh yeah, you guys need it. Yeah, you guys get what you want. It's fine. You saved the universe. You're good."
Yeah.
Are you happy that we're finally kind of getting that recognition? Like, it should be this way around the world.
I mean, sure. I think the Warrior of Light's supposed to stay humble, right? I think we're supposed to stay humble in the face of it.
Nah.
But
I'd go the other way with it.
All right, bro. You want your own?
I'd take advantage of
housing.
I got my own island. God damn it!
I guess you have. Yeah, that's true.
I want a house and not have to pay for it. I want a house.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please Square. Please Yoshi B. More houses.
Exactly.
After that, we get Thancred. He finally makes what I'm calling a cameo. What'd you think about Thancred's appearance? Because to me, the only reason he came in is because we needed a tank for the duty support.
That's exactly it. We needed a tank for trusts or for the duty support, and they were like, "Oh, you can have Thancred. Have fun."
I mean, they could have used Varshan. Varshan's here.
They could have, yeah. He's a paladin.
Yeah. No, he wasn't part of the group, was he? He went to... No, he was part of the group. Yeah, he played a DPS. He played a DPS in that group. Yeah. Okay. He was a DPS or a tank, so depending on what you had already,
gotcha.
You filled in from that. But yeah, I thought, man, Thancred we should get some more Thancred, and maybe we will in the next patch.
Sure, yeah.
It's kind of hard. We'll see. But from there, we take our little crew and we go to the Aether Font to what I will consider one of the better non-leveling dungeons that Square has made in quite a long time. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think the music is really good. Music always sets the tone for a dungeon. I think it's really solid. It's got the Charlayan theme. You can hear it, which is always good to hear. And flow. So, always great to hear. The aesthetic is really cool. You get to see all the wildlife of this area that we're traversing through, kind of chilling on some icebergs out in the distance. And we've made jokes before about how the Warrior of Light's just rolling in and destroying all these habitats and all these creatures just so we can get to the ether. Maybe if they weren't so hostile, maybe they're just trying to protect their home. I don't know. But
we were told when we were there, but before we left, that we should clear out hostile wildlife, because we to make it safe for others to come by because they need to, come and collect the Aether, right?
True. I mean, the bosses that we fight seem to be pretty brutal bosses. Like, those are pretty nasty creatures that maybe we should take care of. But like, just like little penguins that were just mass murdering. Why we gotta do that?
Yeah.
Little penguins. I don't know. But
poor rainbow golems.
Yeah. Well, okay, rainbow golems, but maybe we can harvest them for some materials or something. They look cool. Anyway,
I loved what our friend Ultima said about this dungeon, that we would just be under fire from PETA or whatnot because we just came in and we just wrecked this wildlife. We just killed everyone. It's just
absolutely
no regard for the wildlife, natural ecosystem, and I kind of agree.
Yeah, the Warrior of Light needs something, and woe betide anyone who stands in our way. We just destroy everything in our path. But anyway, no, the dungeon's really good. It is not really well tuned for higher item levels, I've noticed.
Yeah, you talked about that, yeah. Go for it.
As our item levels are going to increase, and as parties are just going to start just absolutely blowing through this dungeon. I mean, I think we've already gotten it down to like 12:30, and that's really short for a dungeon. Like sub 14 minutes is really, really, really fast. And I'm only 650. Once we start getting Biss, I think that dungeon's going to get absolutely destroyed. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what they're going to do with it in the future. Obviously, they're probably going to cap it at some point, like they capped the last dungeon. But I just don't.
I mean, this is going to be part of our expert until the expansion. So
until 7.0, yeah.
So it is what it is.
They'll, yeah, exactly. So they can't cap it at least until 7.0. So like, yeah. It's just, it feels bad to get the other dungeon now because the other dungeon is item level capped and there's just really no way you can push the DPS that hard. But in this one, like, people are just absolutely tearing through it. So they probably could have tuned the HP of the bosses a little bit higher. But it does always feel good to get it because you're just going to blow through it if you got the DPS. So that feels cool to get a dungeon done really fast. But
sure. Well, on the flip side, when you have a time limit and you need to get a dungeon done in like 12 minutes, and you
before the servers go down,
but you're in the Lapis Manalis, which is the item level cap, and you're like, let's go. We got it done just before servers went down. It was amazing. It was a great feeling.
Like 30 seconds later, I was like kicked off the server, so it was like right on the line. So that was a good story.
Mannequin in chat says he's starting to wonder about how much of a warrior light he is. He's in the early stages of the story. So he seems to be killing a lot of things just because they're in the way or inconvenient. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Like,
it's the whole, have you ever seen that South Park episode? It's one of the earlier ones, right? Where they're, Kyle's with his uncle, and it's Stan's with his uncle, and oh my God, they're coming right for us, and then they shoot it. It's like a little rabbit minding its own business. Oh my God, it's coming right for us. They kill it, right? It's the same thing for us. We're just rolling through, and oh my God, that wildlife, it's not looking at us wrong. We got to kill it.
Yeah,
just get rid
giving us.
Yeah.
This goat is giving me side eye. Kill it! Boom!
Exactly. Yep. Just
Pirates,
in case.
Minding their own business. Boom!
Yep.
Indigenous people, Sahagin, kill it! Boom! Okay, yeah, it was. Those
That's
are dark
right.
days of the story. Let's just say that.
I guess a little Mannequin knows he's been here forever, but we do end up saving the universe, right? So I feel like we've saved a lot more things than we've killed. So at least the balance is definitely in our favor.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, I love the dungeon myself. And the last boss being Octomammoth. I'm a huge Final Fantasy IV fan. It's my favorite Final Fantasy of all time, which I've said many, many times. Hearing the music, I think the dungeon, just the pulls to the bosses flow well. Sometimes things are a little janky with how much you have to run. I think things flow perfectly in this one. It's not too much running. The pulls aren't overly difficult. The bosses are fun. Although that first boss and his mouth of razor blades is kind of the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit, man. Like, there's got to be someone with a phobia out there of like something with a lot of freaky teeth like that, because like it skeeves me out, and I'm not even like, I don't have a phobia of it, but it's just like it's not pleasant to look at.
and at first you would think it's kind of like shark teeth. No, shark teeth are jagged, sharp, and they go all sorts of different directions. These are like uniform, like razor blades in like parallel lines, so they're like, it's like manufactured razor blade mouth. It's really, really creepy, kind of off-putting fighting that boss.
It's freaky. He doesn't even use like the many bite attacks, if at all. It's like all his abilities are like magic, or he's like slamming crystals down on the party.
Water breath.
So it's like, I don't know. Maybe it would have been worse if there was like a tank buster where he just like chomps on the tank or something. That freaked me out, dude.
Yeah. I can't take that. I can't take this one. He's just the boss. I can't do it.
Yeah, shirk the healer, dude. You can take it. Ugh. So.
Oh my god, that's so freaking funny. So yeah, well, we both agree that this dungeon is pretty darn good. Not tuned all that well for future content and max item level, but it is what it is at this point. Nothing really we can do about that. But yeah. I really enjoy getting this because it's just a lot of fun. I love it.
Me too. Yeah, the dungeon's great. So
fingers crossed that we get an equally awesome dungeon for the next one, because that'll be our last dungeon until the expansion. So
yep, gonna have a long time to do that. So
we get to the end. We secure the Aether font, the source of all the Aethers spewing out into the sky. Coco, we put everything in these big giant vats or barrels, and Kokolo's offered to get him shipped. Instead of going from the Aether font to Charlayan, he's going to take him directly to our next destination, which is Garlemald, because we got to beam that up to the moon. Mm-hmm. But we get some good dialogue between us, Thancred, and Zero. And I like how the personality quirk of Thancred, he's sometimes self-depreciating. He can talk down about his own contributions and such, and Zero's like, why do you do that? Like, you have no reason to do that. Again, her being just a naive blank canvas on so many aspects, that it's just completely foreign to her that you would not hype up your own achievements and stuff. Like, what do you think of this moment from her and Thancred?
I think it's a good moment. Thancred he's been characterized since Shadowbringers now to be a father figure. Like, he's very much like Dad Crid, right? Everybody that's his thing, haha. But no, seriously, like, he is being hyped up as like the dad of the group. He was like that for Reen, and now it seems like he's trying to pass on some wisdom to Zero as well. And I really like that interaction between the two of them, because for all intents and purposes, Zero is basically got the mind of a child, more or less, because she's just so oblivious to how this world works. So it's interesting to see someone who we've known since 1.0, since forever, who has gone on a long journey of finding himself and his place in the world, and seeing him pass on some wisdom to Zero. It was just a really nice thing. I really enjoyed seeing that. So
my favorite moment there was he's finishing up his conversation, and he basically says, if you have questions or you need guidance, just look to this guy, this gal over here, this warrior of light. You look towards them, you won't have any problems. Yeah, and there's just this moment. You got the warrior of light, me, and Zero, and they're like 3 body parts apart, but they just stare at each other. And then Thancred's like, yeah, that'll do. I'm like, yes. Even Thancred is shipping us. Let's go.
Sure. I think he was more like, I think everybody gets it, but like, just stick close to this person. He, she, whoever you
good moral
are,
compass. Yeah.
Yes, just stick to them. They know what's going on. You'll get the way of the world if you stay close to the Warrior of Light. It's nice to see that we're also being getting recognized for our moral contribution to the world and how we have affected the Scions as much as they've affected us.
Yep.
I agree. It's just nice to see. So
last bit before we leave the Aether font is Thancred and Urianger have a small conversation talking about a client that needs the help of some Archons. Ooh, what could this portend, Piers?
This must be just more expansion setup?
More expansion setup, yeah, probably. Yeah. So we all have 2 different avenues of mysteries to dive into. We got this letter. Mm-hmm. We'll have this mysterious client. I wish we got more, but I guess we have to wait till September, October before we get any more juicy details. But
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll get a lot of them in 6.5. So maybe they'll do, I don't know. They'll probably do a dual patch. You think, like they did last time, or they've been doing
Yeah,
for a while?
they do it every time. They do so we'll have a 6.5 and a 6.55. Yeah, part one and a part two.
Yeah.
So that gives more story chunk. We'll still only get one dungeon. We'll still only get one trial, but we'll get more. I'm betting with 6.55 we get like a solo duty that's pretty significant.
Yeah. Just
So,
like last
not,
time where
if not multiple.
we did some stuff like facing off against Xenos, or we saw Xenos get his scythe finally. Like that was the whole solo
the solo instance for Shadowbringers at the end was at Carchino Flats and the lunar primals.
We fought some of the primals. That's right. Yeah, the lunar ones.
That was a lot of fun. I like playing as all the various.
Right. We played as a bunch of different Scions, right?
Urianger, Alice, and I think Graha. I think we played as those three separate fights.
That was awesome. Yeah.
All right. At this point, we've got what we came for with Aether Front. We got our Aether. Time to get into Garlemald because we could just and we have no problem. We just go to the tower and we just shoot it up, right? All simple, right?
Sure, yeah. I'm sure the Garleans won't have any problem with us using this tower that basically brainwashed their entire populace and brought ruin to their entire city and nation. They'll have no problem up for us reactivating that and then shooting a massive amount of ether to the moon, right? I'm sure they will be perfectly okay with that. Not any PTSD or anything. Be perfectly fine.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I think if they do have issues, they just need to chin up and get over it. See a counselor if they're still having some PTSD issues. We're there to help anyway, so just give us what we want.
Of course.
Am I wrong?
Obviously, that's not how it goes.
Oh, that's not how it goes. Okay. All right. So yeah, Piers, you nailed it. We're worried about the inhabitants and the locals freaking out that the tower gets reactivated for our purposes. So we want to, because we're not there as invaders, even though they see us as invaders. We're not there as invaders. We're there like Peace Corps. You know, we're there to lend aid and support them. We're not setting up any governments. You know, we're not installing our own democracy or dictatorship or anything going on those lands. We're just there to help the populace and somehow get them on their own 2 feet. It's not gone well though.
No, I mean, Garlean. You have to kind of put yourself into the shoes.
Sure.
Of a Garlean. You know, someone who has been raised since they were very young, if not since they were children, that Eorzeans, anybody who can use magic, right? They're all savages. They're not as technologically advanced as us. They have no idea what they're doing. They're summoning these primals, you know, over there that are completely obliterating the landscapes. Like they're savages. And you know, we've been at war with them forever, and now that they're at our doorstep, now that our nation's completely destroyed, they've decided to come and invade, and they want to take over because all we've known is war. All we've known is that they're the enemy, and we are our own nation. We need to keep our sovereignty, and we cannot cooperate with these people. We just can't. It's not in our code. It's not in our DNA to cooperate. So, you know, it is understandable that they would be very against the idea of any sort of aid from us. And we've obviously broken through to them, you know, with people like with Julius.
Yep.
Or Julius, who has seen that we do just want to help. We are just people like anybody else. We just want to help you guys. And he's come around, but there are some of the higher ups, you know, in the government who will see some of the nobles and the people who are, you know, leaders
and politicians.
Politicians who are just very, very against any sort of Eorzean influence at all. So, yeah. So it's just, again, it's just more interesting Garlean stuff. I love the Garlean story and the people and just and the lore, and I really hope we get more of that. I hope we don't leave Garlemald 7.0 just to their own devices. Maybe we do some sort of like Ishgard restoration, but in Garlemald. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be really cool.
But yeah, so we obviously have some obstacles to get through because they're not going to let us use that tower. It's their tower. You know, it's like pretty much the only thing left standing at all of their nation, and they want to take it back. You know, which is fine. It's theirs, but we obviously have to use it. It's literally another threat to the world. You know, always got to be a threat to the world, and I think they do kind of understand that. But at the same time, they're like, "Nah, you just can't. It just would not be good if you were to reactivate it." So, so yeah, that's where we're at right now. So we obviously, you know, we've got to kind of figure out some sort of common ground to come to with them. So,
and I think this is perfectly where Varshan's like, yeah, I get you. As being, you know, the puppet version of Vitra, he understands what it means to lead his people and to take care of his people. Sure. So he comes up with the fabulous idea, instead of just being rendering aid, his country, Thavnair Razadhan, is going to enter into a treaty with Garlemald so that they get out of this oppressive yoke of the Peace Corps that we have going, and actually try to get on their own 2 feet. And part of this treaty, though, is that we get access to use the tower. We're not claiming it. We're not, you know, not going to, it's not our property, but we need to use it for our things here. And we need your guys' help, you know, with this treaty and providing trade, commerce, get you back on your feet, to help your people understand that, you know, we're using this tower for good.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, again, it also comes down to the pride. I mean, these are very prideful people, and not only do they see Eorzeans as savages and possibly wanted to conquer, but they also do not want any sort of charity at all. They don't want charity. They want to be able to do everything themselves, like they've been doing forever. They've taken care of themselves. They have stayed out of world politics other than to conquer, right? So at this point, they feel like they need to get their nation sorted by themselves. They're the only people that can.
Yeah, I mean, we even had that shocking moment during the leveling MSQ of that general and his deed that he did.
Absolutely.
That was pretty shocking. Like, I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, again, you got to think about it, dude. He's someone who would not, he just does not want to take part or participate in any sort of Garlean occupation. Or, you know, having Garlemald occupied. He just does not want to be part of that. He feels like he shamed his nation. He feels like he let everyone down, and he just decided to take, well, it's the coward's way out, but then he thought it was the right thing to do, so, yeah.
But Anakin says he likes the Magitech and the Empire aesthetics from what little we've seen of it. Hey, as you get through that first, you know, 2.0 series, you're going to start seeing a lot of it, you know, Reapers and other Magitech devices and whole bases and stuff, so please look forward to it. Good stuff.
I would love to be able to play as a Garlean someday, but it would just wouldn't make any sense. We use too much ether, and they can't.
It would have to be a race that is restricted on what jobs they could do, right?
Either that, or there have to be some lore reason. Maybe they have some device that allows them to channel ether or something. It would have to be some weird stuff, but
they could probably be a gunbreaker, because that's all about the bullets.
I mean, Thancred can't channel ether anymore, and he is able to gun break just fine.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Anyway,
the treaty, we got the access to the tower. The last part of this section here in Garlemald that I really liked is another moment with Zero, and we get a nice flashback regarding trust and trusting others, because, you know, we're with Julius. And he mentions, you know, that, you know, he trusts us to do the right thing. And she just, it's just a thing that she just doesn't comprehend, this trust thing. And she brings us back to this, you know, flashback of her meeting 2 gentlemen on the 13th during their complete turmoil that they're under. They're falling to darkness. Everything's just going badly. No one trusts anybody. Like, literally nobody trusts anybody else, because at some point they're going to turn on them for their own ends at some point. It's just like an emblem. That's just the rule of the 13th during that time. And she meets 2 gentlemen that wholeheartedly trust each other, and she just didn't get it. She didn't understand it, and she rejected them because of the way that world worked. We didn't get to see faces, really. I mean, we got to see the blonde guy, but it was 2 people that apparently trusted each other from the land of Baron. Hey, a little forenod there. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yep, they seem to. They were obviously teamed up, and they were fighting. At least it seems like they were fighting on the same side as Zero in the Contra Memoria. I think that's what the war is called, right? So like, they had their goals aligned, right? And they were like, well, hey, Zero, why don't you just like come with us, and we can like be a trio, and we can be more effective. And Zero was like, I just can't do that. I just can't, because I can't trust you guys. I don't know what your goals are, any of that stuff. And so she, like you said, she ended up just rejecting them outright. But these two seem to have some sort of relationship with each other, brothers in arms or what have you. And we'll find out who they are a little bit later on. And it's really interesting. And I hope that we do get to, I'm sure we will get to find out even more about them in the coming patches. But a couple of really interesting characters here from like the past, like 1,000 years ago and the 13th. So
yeah. With that done, we got the treaty done. We helped save one of the politicians. He was still reluctant, but we saved him, and he thanked us. And he realized, oh, okay, they're good guys. They could have just let me die.
This person who was completely against any sort of cooperation, of course, we have to save their life from monsters. Well, it's like Magitech or something.
Yeah, their own Magitech. Their own Magitech.
Yeah, there's a lesson to be had there, right? Where they were so prideful about their Magitech and all that stuff, but ended up like going berserk and turning on them, and then we saved them from them, and so they're like, oh, okay, I guess we can work with you guys now. So, just save somebody's life and you'll change their mind.
Yeah,
and there you go.
I mean, that's how it works for me. Like, I don't trust you for nothing. You saved my life, though. We can talk. You can sleep in my bed, and I'll sleep on the couch. It's all good.
Yeah, there you go.
So, you can eat my food. It's all good. All right, so we have access to the tower. We have the Aether. What's left, dude?
I mean, we've got to. What do we have to do?
We gotta go to the moon.
We have to send it up. We have to go to the moon, and then we have to. We work with the Loporits at some point, right? We have to.
Yeah. So we get up to the moon, and Yashol is there. She greets us with the Akasadara from the Great Work. I forget her name.
I always forget her name, and I feel so bad.
Like, I hear her voice in my head, and I just darn it. If anybody knows the chat,
it's not like Nidana or something, right?
Nidhana. Yes, Nidhana.
Am I right? Yes. Let's go.
You got it. Let's go. So they greet us, and they tell us about the state of affairs. The ritual is pretty much ready to go, but the plan is to fix the towers that were broken by. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name now.
Xenos
and is
Fandaniel.
Fandaniel, thank you. Fandaniel.
Fandaniel, yes. That's his female alter ego, Fandaniel. Anyway. That's not canon.
Only Fandaniel.
But yes, it's all the brands that are surrounding that big, the big crater, and they're all named after an element, right? So it's like the brand of flames, the brand of.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's all different elements. If you go there, you can see they're all named after a certain element, earth, air, fire, or stuff like that. So yeah,
awesome. So the plan is to fix those, and the Watcher, is helping with this as well, to fix those to reenact the seal, because we're going to open this big gate with all the Aether that's going to come from the Tower of Babel, and this is going directly to the 13th. Well, Voidsent could come through. We got to have something that seals it so that they don't just run amok and all crazy. So Y'shtola and friends are going to take care of that. We're tasked to go visit the Loporits and see if they can lend any assistance. And their big assistance is they're going to lend us some robots for defense in case any Voidsent can get out. Perfect, makes right? Sense. Yeah.
Yep.
But these robots, they have experience in taking care of Voidsent, right?
No, not at all.
No?
We have to train them.
We have to train them?
Train.
Well, how are we going to train them on Voidsent?
I honestly have no idea how we do it, but like Zero's a Voidsent, right? So like have Zero fight them.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Perfect. You see, you got all the puzzle solving. Have you tried Humanity yet?
No, not yet. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 16 is going to consume my life though, but once that's done, then maybe I'll get to it. Yeah.
Anyways, so we're gonna have Zero train the robots in how to deal with void scent, and she just ignites the aether around her, and it's the funniest thing watching all the Lupperites like cower in fear to the point where half of the robots turn tail and run.
Yes, the robots are like, I don't want any part of this.
Peace
I'm
out. And Sleeping Way wakes up finally. He's like, no, engage. And she cuts them down to size. They're like, oh, okay, that's a lot of good data. We'll rebuild them and we'll send them out to the front line with this new data. Then they can help. Great, fun. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was a great moment. Like she looked pissed. Like she had this. It was this up angle and she was wide eyed. She was all, I'm a voice center.
That's just her serious business mode, dude. And that's, you just got to get into it. She's really getting into it. So
finally finding emotion, when she's been emotionless for millennia.
Yeah.
All right. After Zero tests them and they get rebuilt, we come back out. The seal is back in full force. Urian J, and you're still invoke the ritual and open this mammoth void gate. Do we just jump in? Should we just jump in? Is that how we go?
We did see a little void scent try to come up and he bonked off the top of it. So the seal worked. At least for a little tiny void scent man, he can't get through. So that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know about if that'll hold Golbez. But hey, it held Zodiark, right? So
that's the idea, but as we'll see, there might be something that's just as strong coming. Anyway,
yeah, sure. Just a reminder to anybody that doesn't remember, like Zodiark was shattered when he was sealed. So he was, even on the source, that was just one of 14 parts, right? The source and the 13 shards, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the whole reasons that the Ascians were even doing rejoinings, right? Yeah. Was to make Zodiark stronger that he could eventually break free and take control again. But yeah.
So the plan is theoretically sound. At this point, we just got to go through the portal and we got to get to Golbez because we got to nail this in nip this in the bud. Let's get on this back of this awesome dragon that flew from the planet to the moon. I'll repeat that. The dragon flew from the planet to the moon. It didn't go through the Tower of Babel. It just flew from the planet to the moon.
They can do that.
That's
cool.
They
can do that.
That's so cool.
That's how Midgard Zormer came from another literal planet on the other side of the galaxy here, right? That's how Xenos was able to travel in his Shinryu form from there to the corner. I just think it's so cool.
I want to do that.
It's cool, dude. Dragons are cool, man. What can I say?
They should allow us, if we're on a Midgard Zormer mount, just to fly up until you can't anymore. And then when you hit that, it's a Zoneberry and you cross over to Garlemald Sky.
Yeah, okay, dude. 9.0. They'll introduce that. Probably not 11.0. Space flight.
Yes. All right. Jesus. So we hop on Vitra and we cross over. We cross over to the 13th moon. This was such a cool aesthetic that I made it my desktop, dude.
The red planet, dude.
The red planet. On Mars. It's we're on Mars, but it's crimson red. It's not that orange red that you see in Mars movies. It's crimson red. It's pretty awesome. And then you have this swirl of dark aspected aether of a planet in the background, and it's just an amazing sight. So freaking
that's
cool.
The 13th, man. 13th looks good. Looks like it's thriving. Not really.
Thriving. Okay. Yeah. What's up, Jedi Pokey? Flat Earth Dome. Are you a flat earther, Jedi Pokey? I'm not. I believe the world is round.
Oh, do you? That's good. That's a really novel notion to have.
I'm believing it. Right, there's no proof. There's no proof.
That's
but
wild. Sure.
My first thought when we crossed over is the music. I'm going to say right now that the music in this entire patch is absolutely top shelf. I don't think there's anything that gets lower than an A-. There's nothing like B+ or lower. It's all A. It's all good. So their version of Another Moon, where it's funky, well, it's just piano here, and it's so good. Like, I had to stop in the middle of my MSQ playthrough just to listen to the music because it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, Soken just keeps producing bangers left and right, dude. All of 16 is a giant banger, so I don't know. The dude just cannot miss. He's literally got auto aim hacks on. He just does not miss at all.
Only it's music. It's art. It's like,
yes,
Jesus, he's so good. At this point, do we put him in the same category as Uematsu?
I feel like we have to. Yeah, I mean, if 16 doesn't win soundtrack of the year, at least I will riot, because the man pours his soul into each of his tracks, and you can just feel it. And I don't see how he doesn't get recognized for this year.
I mean, just a little that I played from the demo, because I haven't actually played the game yet. Even the prelude with the militaristic kind of oppressive vibe in that beginning opening part was just like, wow, this is so atmospheric. It really pulls you in.
It's so good, dude.
So he's doing it here again with this patch. It's just so good.
Yeah, and he hasn't been recognized for anything from 14 yet, which is wild. No best soundtrack. I don't even know if 14's been nominated for best soundtrack.
They have. I could have sworn they've won an award for that. Maybe someone could look up the last 2 Game Awards or last 3 and see if 14 has won best soundtrack. I think that he has won at least one.
If he has, then okay, but I don't remember. But I feel like he's got to get. I feel like everybody's saying 16 is going to get Game of the Year. I think it'll be nominated. I don't think it'll win, unfortunately. I just think that there's some better mainstream games out there that it definitely will be nominated. But I think it takes a whole lot of categories, and I think best soundtrack is going to be one of them. But we're getting into 16 speculation. I'm sorry, we're sidetracking.
Well,
but yeah,
once we're done with 16, we will do a Valisthea Heroes. Okay. We will do a Valisthea Heroes, and we will talk about that game. That might take multiple episodes itself.
I think so too. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm excited for that, and I am. Like I said, I think that. But it all comes back to Soken's music is just great, and it was great for the Moon. It was great for all of his remixes of the 4 soundtrack that he's doing in all of these patches, and it just continues to be really, really good. So.
One thing that I noted, the area on this moon is absolutely devoid of like anything like living or even void set. Like we saw that one void set come out of the gate and bonk his head on the shield and then fall back down. But like once we step through, there is like nothing. There is,
I don't know, maybe
there is the moon. There is the chasm, the crater, the chasm that is a mirror of our moon. Mm-hmm. But there was like not anything living, void sent or anything. Like it's just like, what the heck is going on here? Like even to the point where Vitra cannot sense Azdaja. Like, where the hell is everyone? Hello, knock on the door.
I'm wondering if Golbez has something to do with this. Maybe he's the one that got everybody out of there, or is like maybe there's a whole plan behind what he's doing here. That's what I think, at least. Or if Square Enix just didn't want to put a bunch of random mobs on the moon for no reason. I don't know. Probably
it could be that it's just his, his isolated sanctuary, kind of a la Superman, and his solitude, fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they got idea. There is that big pit that we mentioned, though, that housed the shattered fragment of Zodiark, the 13th version of it, and that used to be there, but with the original Zodiark now being poofed out of existence, like pretty much all the other Zodiarks are poofed out of existence, but their aether still lingers in that pit, and you can kind of see that in that swirl of dark aether there.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, yeah, I mean, something is going to happen with that.
Something's going to happen with that. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be used for something. Mm-hmm. So at this point we're going to split up, right? And we're going to search for clues and find out what the hell's going on. And, we don't find anything really, right? Like there's nothing. Like I talked about, there was just nothing.
There's not a whole lot. We gotta like look around the planet. We gotta go talk to everybody. Everybody's like scattering out to look at what things they can find. But we all know.
They even made a point where they said that the only sound you hear is the sound of your friends walking around. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
It was just a void of sound even. But we get to the edge of the crater. We look in. And then Vitra flies overhead. And finally we hear a call from Azdaja. And Vitra's like, let's go. She's down there. I found her. Good hearty reunion, right? Like we can go home now. We found her. It's all done.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure there'll be no complications, or we're not falling into Golbez's clutches at all.
No, I mean, we even gave her eye back, so she's got full power now.
Full power. It's even better.
She's got hope that we've came to save her. She's hopeful. Her spirit is uplifting after millennia of feeling like down and in the dumps. That never going to be saved. She just wants to die. Now she's back feeling hopeful. So all is well with the world. So, annual Game Award Music Soundtrack of the Year for A Realm Reborn in 2013. Awesome. They will have one for A Realm Reborn. Wow.
That is
nothing more recent. Like I could have sworn they would have won for like Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers was amazing.
14 just wins like best community and
best ongoing.
Best ongoing. Yeah. But never like soundtrack or anything, which is just crazy, but never.
Well, yeah, I mean, he won it once for A Realm Reborn in 2013, so at least that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they win from the various websites. They win best music and soundtrack, but Game Awards seems to be its own fickle beast. So
backworms, yeah.
So we return our eye to her. She's got her full power. She has hope because she sees Vitra. She knows she's going to be saved. Unfortunately, the spell that has her encased in those white chains, only Golbez can break it. So we got to go find him, and he's somewhere on this desolate moon. So we got to go find him. So we break out again, and we go search. But in our search, we find what appears to be a gravestone. What do we find there, Piers?
It does look like a gravestone of some sort. It looks like it's important. Obviously, it wouldn't be there if it wasn't important. Golbez probably put it there for some reason.
Sure.
So it must be someone who's important to Golbez. But that's interesting. I wonder who that person could possibly be.
But yeah, we find a Memoria crystal in the grave.
That's right.
We find the Memoria crystal in the grave. And of course, when we find anything important and we're wondering what it is, Square Enix and Final Fantasy XIV has this mechanism to give us more information. And we call that the Echo flashback. Echo.
Yes. This is in the lore of Endwalker. We find out that the Echo is just some sort of spell that that has like put on us so we can like trace the history of the ether back through like what it. So basically, we're seeing back in time, but that's the lore implication. But I'm glad they're still using it. I'm glad we still have the Echo and we're still using it, and it's not just completely gone after Endwalker. So cool to see. And so we're going back in time to see what this is all about. And what do we see?
And what do we see? Well, what I thought was interesting right off the bat, and I can't remember this ever being done with any other Echo flashback. Even if it was involving a specific person, it was still from outside of their personas. We're looking down on everyone involved. This was a first person flashback. Yeah. So we're seeing through the eyes of someone else. Like we're seeing their hands, like we're using VR. But we don't like it was kind of off-putting for our first person Echo. But we see what appears to be the gentleman that Zero had mentioned in her flashback. Which again was stills, but this is kind of a full motion flashback. So we get to see what's actually happening, and we see that basically that whole moment that Zero was telling us play out before our eyes. I thought this was really cool. Really led to her realizing that she was being honest with us, that these two were just people that were wanting to do better for the world during this whole entire war. And when she, rejects them, they let her go. Usually you reject someone in that realm and world, you're just done for unless you can defend yourself. So, yeah, I was like, oh, well, this guy apparently that we're in the body of is no more. But I felt it weird because we got these, armored grips that we're seeing, in our VR mode. I'm thinking, well, okay, well, this person is Golbez, right?
Well, yes and no.
Yes and no?
Depends on how you look at it, I guess. Because this person obviously it can't be the Golbez who we're familiar with, because whoever this is inside a crystal, or the Contra Memoria crystal or whatever, one of those. So like his soul is in there. So obviously this can't be the one who has been doing all of this scheming and conniving for a few patches now, which is interesting. So who could that be? I wonder.
Could that be? Weird. Interesting.
Who could possibly take up the sword and the armor of the one whose eyes we're seeing through, and continue his legacy? Interesting. Anyway.
At this point, Golbez shows up. He informs us that he wants Zera's power because he recognizes her as one of the Memoriates. So he wants her to join her. And she outright rejects him because she now knows what trust is and calls us friends. And that brought a tear to my eye. Like, I was like, oh my God, our babe is growing up right before our eyes.
It's interesting because for Voidsent too, Voidsent have a lot of respect for people who are stronger than them, right? It's a whole dog-eat-dog kind of world out there.
Oh,
and so
definitely.
for her to reject Golbez is kind of like a big deal. So she not only trusts us, but also trusts in our power. We're probably a lot stronger than Golbez, which is true. So maybe she's trusting in our strength as well. Maybe there's a little bit of that Voidsent still left in her that's like, oh, I'll respect your power because Golbez ain't shit. So
yeah.
Well,
he says, well, that's fine because you actually kind of fell into my plan, in which we're like, oh, great. That's just what now? So apparently through the millennia of having Azdaja as his Aether pet, she's become despondent and lifeless and spiritless. So seeing Vitra and the thought of her being saved has lifted her spirits and her energy about her. That she's now much more powerful than she was just like hours before. So we've helped him inadvertently by getting this Aether battery to him, an Aether battery recharged and rejuvenated. And we're like, oh, that's just great.
Also gave back one of her eyes, right?
Well, we gave back her eye, which, was given to Cognazzo to come over.
Oh, that's right. So she has had it for a while, but yeah, we're just reassembling the battery then.
we reassembled the battery, but it's the hope in Azdaja, coming back that really kicks her into high gear. At this point, he breaks her chains, her seal, and lets the darkness of the 13th just ravage her and corrupt her. I was a little sad. Like I was like, I when Vitra cried out no, I cried out no. I don't know how you felt about that moment.
Yeah, I mean it's dark. I mean it's Vitra's sister who he has felt guilty about for aeons now, basically. And seeing her so close to being freed, by the way, like within arm's reach, but then just at the snap of a finger being totally corrupted and brought into darkness, and even twisting her form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the wings are gone. Like she's just serpent.
Yep. I mean, that's got to be tough for Vitra to handle. So yeah, it's not right. We got to do something. We got to save her. We got to do something. There's still got to be hope there. So
at this point, a dragon fight commences. Golbez 6 Azdaja's new shadow dragon form onto Vitra. They tangle with each other. Voidsent are summoned to deal with the Scions and with Zero. We're trying to fight our way to Golbez. Vitra ends up falling to Azdaja, which is like, oh god, this is not going well. And it's up to us Warriors of Light, to take down Golbez, to take down Azdaja, and we get pretty sick looking arena to do that on.
Yeah, he just decides to like summon a giant cube from the ground up into the sky with us on it, because we have to have our battle arena. So thank you for that, Golbez. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
The arena's sick because it's like him. He's like standing in front of the 13th with his like giant sword and the shadow dragon wrapped around him, and it's just a very imposing figure. The dude's tall as crap. I think he like becomes bigger, right? Like he actually like
he's ginormous. Up. He's just ginormous in general, yeah. Okay. With all the power that he's absorbed and darkness that he's absorbed, probably power from his Daja that he's absorbed. He's just become this huge void fiend. So we got to take the fight to Golbez and his new Shadow Dragon in the trial that's called the Voidcast Deus. I thought the normal was actually a lot of fun. I didn't find it too difficult. I didn't wipe it all. Reused a lot of mechanics that we had already seen. I just point out like Hades and the icicles going different directions from Hades. Lots of in and outs. Meteors dropping in corners and all that fun stuff. So, nothing truly crazy. But it was a good fight. It was fun. What did you think about the normal mode?
The normal mode? Yeah, I enjoyed it. I can't say anything bad about it. I can't really say anything great about it. I don't remember a lot. Like you said, it's a lot of reuse stuff. I thought the extreme was really, really good. Though they really did a good job with the extreme
choice. Extreme choice.
Some of the mechanics are kind of BS, but I mean, Gale 3 or Gale 2 or whatever. But
Gale 2
we won't go there. We could talk about that.
We'll talk about that next week.
But no, I like the fight. I like the music is sublime as usual, and
oh my god, the music! So
another remix of the Four Fiends again, which is you would think would be played out by now, but it's just still so.
Oh my god, the way Soken can just take a song and so Barbarisha was just Four Fiends just reimagined and just made clean, and it was perfect. Forge and Crimson was let's take this and just make it freaking metal. Like just
Rubicon with there's like a choir in the background who's singing. And
like it's something the Primals is gonna sing. Like it just sick. And then he kind of pulls it back and does original, but then he layers it with Prelude and the main theme from Final Fantasy IV. So I'm just like in awe and engorged with happiness because 4 is my favorite again, and I'm just in heaven with this song. So good.
It was really good. Yeah, you can. It feels epic. Like it does. It feels like an epic song. Like you're fighting a boss. Like so, it's really good.
At this point, though, we do defeat the Black Knight, and we make him into Small Bez, as I put in the show notes. Small Bez.
Yeah, he doesn't get he loses his swollenness.
Instead of like a 15-foot tall behemoth, he's a normal guy in black armor.
Yeah, dude, he had a Mario super mushroom and then he tripped on a Koopa and now he's small again. He's just tiny.
He's tiny. Small Bez, as I like to call him. But he has one last trick up his sleeve. He's like, all I needed was time because now the moon is shaking and things are going a little bit hinky. And he takes Azdaja's body and he throws it and all of its aether into the chasm to start a summoning. What could he be summoning, Piers? After all this Final Fantasy IV goodness, what is left for us to fight?
Well,
in this chasm.
If you're, this has been a Final Fantasy IV themed thing.
Baigen, right? We're facing Baigen.
Yes, it's got to be Baigen. Obviously, it is, I can't even make a joke. But no, this is a boss that we haven't seen at all. I mean, they've done a lot of end bosses from a lot of different Final Fantasies, like Exdeath, like Kefka. They've done Chaos from 1. They've done all these, but we haven't seen yet is the final boss of Final Fantasy IV. Yes, the one who kind of comes out of nowhere, but it's still a really interesting boss with a really amazing theme, and I can't wait to see what they do with our boy Zeramus. He's got to be down there, and he is being summoned.
He is being summoned.
Kind of like as an aspect of Zodiark, or at least with the strength of Zodiark, or some sort of strength of Zodiark.
Yes.
So it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. So they got the ether of basically 1/14 of the aether of Zodiark being used to, plus all the aether from a dragon and both of her eyes.
Yeah. A dragon of the first brood, which is massive. We all know it's huge.
Yes.
So
even though it's been siphoned off for a millennia, you know, still powerful being, lots of aether. One thing I was like, Zeromus? Is that how they're pronouncing it? Is that
I don't know.
Zeromus.
Zeromus. I guess I get it. I've always done Zeramus.
Me too.
But that's just.
And it's Titus. You know. It's Titus. It's not Titus.
It's absolutely Titus, and it's not Zidane either. It's Zidane. There's an E at the end of the name. It's Zidane. My name is Dane. So just put a Z-I at the front of my name, and it's Zidane. Anyway, whatever.
Naming conventions aside, I'm just glad because like one of my thoughts was that maybe Zero goes berserk and Zero becomes Zeromus.
No, it's in her name, right? I guess
it's in her name. So I was like hoping that wasn't going to be the case. So I'm glad that Zero does not become Zeromus and we're not fighting Zero in whatever shenanigans that entails. But Zero does try to take on the hero role, and she's all like, "I got this," and she goes and tries to crystallize in Memoria Zeromus, and she doesn't even get through the veil of Shadow of Darkness.
Yeah,
like that's how powerful this bad boy is.
Yeah.
Because she failed, though, she lost, I guess, her balance and dropped the Memoria crystal. What are your thoughts of what that crystal is? Because I have two thoughts.
That crystal has to be the one that they found at the grave, right? It has to be, in my opinion. I know you think it might be. I know. Okay, we'll go with your.
So
okay.
Yes, that's the most recent one, but like I don't think we've ever laid down like what happens to Scarmiglione's crystal. Like,
yes,
I know.
That's your theory, and that's an interesting theory. I would like to see the Four Fiends make a reappearance. Maybe in this fight would be really cool thematically.
Sure.
I do think it's probably, and I guess we have to reveal this, true Golbez. This is this person Golbez, who we were seeing through the eyes of. True Golbez. The Golbez that we see over there, the one we fought, was his friend, the guy who was along with him when they met Zero and all that. And somehow Golbez fell. We're not sure how. Somehow he died or something, and he took over as Golbez. So I think this is the soul of Golbez going down there, and it might end up being like what saves us in the end. Maybe we fight Zeromus, but we just can't beat him, and then like it's his soul that comes out and saves, because I think Golbez is a good person, and I think maybe that's going to affect how this fight goes. I'm hoping for a two-phaser fight, by the way. I hope we fight like the first form of Zemus from Final Fantasy IV, where he's all the spaghetti.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
And then like he goes into that weird like
alien
bird, like looking like, you know, something from H.P. Lovecraft. Like yep. But anyway, yeah, that's who I think it is.
Durante.
Yeah,
Durante is so yeah. There's Durante and there's Golbez.
Okay.
The thought is that, and I think we've pretty much post MSQ there is a cutscene with our Golbez talking about how he misses a friend and whatnot, but the original Golbez in the armor who didn't have the sword, it was just a magic caster. Also, Durante is the one that has the sword.
That's right, yeah, because I mean, even in Golbez in like all of his other appearances, as well as in Dissidia, and you know,
sorcerer,
he's just a sorcerer. He's a magic caster, yeah. So
so he falls, gets crystallized, and then Durante picks up the armor and names himself Golbez in honor of his friend. So I think that's going to be crucial. I do believe you're right that it is true Golbez that fell down there. And like Zero told to Vitra at the end, you know, the way the 13th works is you get absorbed and eaten by another entity, but you're not gone. You still exist. You're just in that other person. So Zeromus is going to have Azdaja in it. and it's going to have true Golbez. So I think there's going to be a couple forces weakening Zeromus from the inside to make it more capable for us to defeat it.
I think so too. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So Zeromus is arrived. Zero just fails in her attempt to crystallize it. And then at that time, our warding scales are starting to wane. So we gotta peace out because
we gotta retreat because we cannot handle this right now.
Yeah, if those warding scales fail, like we could just be just as corrupted as Daja. So we make a hasty retreat. Everyone's sad because we failed at our mission and things are now worse.
Yeah, we were so close to saving her, dude. So close.
But so close.
Yep.
Honestly, they should have just taken her in her cage and just tried to get her out through the portal. Yeah. And then try to figure it out from there. But neither here nor there. We keep the gate open though, because we don't want to close it, right? Because otherwise we got to go back to the Aether Font and farm another buttload of Aether.
True, can't do that again. And I mean, hopefully, this ward that was created on the moon was meant for a Golbez, or not a Golbez, a Zodiark, who is a lot stronger than just 1/14th, right? This was a very powerful ward that was able to hold like six or seven,
something, I think,
like that. However many were joining.
6 swords, I think there was. Wait,
it was starting to.
How many calamities? 7 calamities.
Yeah, so 7
plus the original, so 8 14ths. So pretty fat Zodiac.
Hopefully this ward is able to hold. But I mean, I don't know. There'll probably be some sort of plot thing where it's like, oh man, we got to go in now because the ward is failing and we got to go beat him like ASAP. And I don't know. I'm expecting that might be something that happens, but yeah, yep. So we keep the portal open because we got to go back there and fight him in a few months. TM. So.
TM. I'm assuming early October is my guess for 6.5. So yeah, the gate's still open. The seal is holding firm. I think Y'shtola stays back. Y'shtola and Urianger stay back to keep an eye on the seal, because you don't want that breaking. That would be bad news. We go back to Razatan with Estinian and Vitra and Zero. While I like the fact that Zero's going to work out and get better at her melee craft, I'm not so happy that she's doing it with Estinian. Like Julius, that's my bae. You keep your hands off there, Estinian.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
just saying. That's my bae. Leave her alone.
If that ship sails or not, dude, I don't know. People like the ship, so I don't know. It's not my ship.
I already got the Anticrit's approval. That ship is sailed. It's Wall Zero, okay? WOL 0.
Wall 0, yes.
Warrior of Zero.
Not Estina 0 or Zero Stinian.
Zero of Light.
Exactly.
And then Zero, reassures Vitra that, it's going to be okay. Explains what happened with her Void Set friends when we first visited her little shard, and one friend ate the other, but the other one was still in there, just still scared. It was all weird. And we got to get new scales. So Vitra's got to, shell up some scales and get healed up after that. Because have you ever seen like screenshots like of his side where he's he's all jacked up. He's all jacked up. It looks raw, like raw meat. It's like, oh, that's gonna hurt.
No, hopefully this is the last set of warding scales he needs to do for a long time. I don't expect we'll need any if we go to Mericidia 7.0. We'll see.
Well, the other little bit that was encouraging is that somewhere in there, Y'shtola made mention of maybe redirecting, a shard that has an abundance of light and shunting that over to the 13th.
I wonder what that could possibly.
Where could that be? Interesting.
Weird. Also, something I haven't done is I should do that is go back and talk to the people on the first, the people from the 13th, like Una Kalhai and Scylla, and because they always have some interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, have you finished all those role quests?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I think if you finished all them, yes, there is additional stuff there.
There is, but I don't know if it's after this patch. I don't know if you can go and be like, yo, by the way, the moon is going crazy on the 13th, and they're like, oh my god, really? So I don't know. I have to go back and talk to them and see if they have any dialogue. But I always love that, dude, when they tie in lore because they're from the 13th. That's the whole reason they're even here, is that they're from the 13th. So it's really interesting. And, usually like Scylla is something like, oh man, you know Memoriat? That's crazy. Like they're super powerful. Like it's just really interesting when they do that. So I have to go back and talk to them. But yes, awesome. The first, maybe we could channel some light from the first and help out the 13th. Who knows? Woo-hoo! That'd be crazy.
All right. That is going to be it, though, here for this edition of Hydaelyn's Heroes. We just wanted to get the MSQ and talk about that. And I've had a good time. Thank you, Piers, again, for coming back and doing this with me. We hopefully will be back every Thursday. Is your normal day off, right?
Make it happen. Yeah. Right. No, it's Thursday. Thursdays.
Yeah. Next week, we'll talk about Savage, the EX trial. We might have some news about 6.55, maybe. Possibly. Maybe. It's getting close. We're getting close. I'd love to dive into that criterion. We just got that ultimate, taking care of ultimates sucks up so much goddamn time. Like, we had to set aside Destiny 2. That just went away. Like, I couldn't, just no time for that.
There's no way. Yeah.
I've been trying to fit some Diablo 4 in. Now we got, my Crisis Core playthrough is finally back on track. Final Fantasy 16 just released. Like, there's so much, and Ultimate's just sapped out so much time. So glad to be back and getting things done. We'll organize better for the future. So until next time, Piers, where can people find you?
I mean, with how busy my life is lately, I haven't been streaming as much. It's something I want to get back into. I know I say this, I'm a broken record. I'm a broken record about saying I'm a broken record, but legitimately, I want to get back into streaming if I can find some time. School has been really eating away at me, but I should be able to handle both school and streaming a day or two, right? So if you do see me streaming, come hang out at radio_Piers. Dark Cloud 2. I want to get back into that game. I love the Dark Cloud series. I did all of 1 on stream, and I want to do 2 as well. So you can catch me there when I'm playing that. But otherwise, you can find me on Final Fantasy 14, of course. I am Piers Harvey. And you can find me on the Leviathan server, on the Primal Data Center. And legitimately, I will do anything with you. If you want to do a dungeon, if you want to do a trial, if you want to do normal mode raids, anything, you hit me up.
Yeah, hit Piers up. Tell him that you want to do 10 front lines. He'd be ecstatic to do that with you. He loves the front lines, especially when he's getting his butt ripped off.
I will turn my mic off and just, I don't know, maybe I'll put on a YouTube video in the background and just not care.
Dude, yes, when you go off on front lines, man, I just can't help but laugh. I'm like, Jesus. Dude.
It's fine. I get super competitive, and it makes no sense. The people that play this game make no sense. You do a normal, you do an expert roulette or something, and they're like the worst players in the world. They can't do DPS. They suck at their job. But you go into front lines, and everybody in front lines are PvP gods. They will wreck your face. Everybody's got battle high, but you know why? Just feel so bad.
You know why? Because it's so much simpler. Like everything's reduced down into such a simpler state that's easier for more people to get a hold of. Plus, with front lines, I'm sorry, you're not going to do well when it's 5v1 and you're all by yourself. Like, you're going to get
there is teamwork involved. Yes, you're right. You're right. And it just feels bad when your team isn't cooperating, but that's front lines for you.
Or you charge in and you go do your thing and you go turn around and everyone is gone.
Nobody's there. And the whole team swarms you and it instantly kills you. Yes, I love that, man. Feels so good. And I'm going off on a huge tangent. Front lines, yeah, great, really fun game mode. But where can people find you? You're everywhere, so let the people know where they can find you.
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming. Like I said, with Ultimate wrapping up, things are freeing up in the schedule. Crisis Core playthrough is getting near completion. We finished Chapter 7 last night, so 3 more chapters to go. Those will all be coming up on YouTube, so look forward to that. Final Fantasy 16 will be coming as well. Definitely going to stream that. Here's the thing about it, you saying you're streaming. Like, I'm surprised that you didn't just start streaming 16.
16, yeah, I was thinking about it, but at the same time, like sometimes with games like
just stream it, just do it,
I could just not do dialogue or anything, because sometimes with these games that are really important and stuff to me, I just want to play it on my own schedule and just not have to think about doing commentary or anything.
I get that. You know, you got your streaming game, and then you got your game that you're like, no, this is for me. I don't need to deal with anybody else. I get that.
Exactly.
All right.
But there's something I'll think about. Maybe I'll do that because I'm obviously going to do a new game plus on Final Fantasy mode or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
So like maybe I'll do that stream. So.
Yeah. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming. Come hang out. It's a good time. Until next time, though, y'all take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And remember,
Master Control oversees all on the grid. End of line.
peace, friends.
See ya.